Hey folks, Luxinda Swirl here. I am going to do a quickie catch-up water slide sort of video here. A couple days ago I made this cup. This is a 20-ounce fat. I don't know, it's got some other name than that, but it's 20 ounces and it's kind of chubby. And I decorated this. I started by sanding it, washing it with dishwasher soap and water. I spray painted it white, matte, with the Rust-Oleum 2X. Then I put one layer of epoxy on, and in that layer of epoxy I had Cast and Craft opaque white pigment and Marabou rainbow alcohol ink, which all that does is add the sparkles. So that was a white layer with sparkles in it. And after that dried, I put all of these on. These are water slides. The name is a water slide. Everything's a water slide on here, including the pretty bouquet at the bottom. And these are all printed on inkjet clear matte water slide decal paper, which is why I needed the white background, so everything shows up really clearly. And I will link to that below. I will link to the cup. I will link to everything below that I can think of. I purchased these are all herbs, watercolor paintings of herbs that were turned into graphic files that I could use. Not SVGs, but PNGs. And I use them in Cricut Design Space. So here's what I'm doing to go along with this cup. I have these two coaster molds. These have these beautiful faceted edges. So when you pop the coaster out, it will look like a cut gemstone on the side. Just gorgeous. Obviously, they are heart-shaped. I had some clear resin and I mixed into it some of this Marabou rainbow alcohol ink, so it has super, super, super fine glitter particles in it. I also have these beautiful chrome mica powders from Island Micas and More. I will link to them below. All different colors. It's very, very fine, sparkly chrome dust, basically, and using a cheapo little paintbrush from the Walmart Arts and Crafts section. You buy a pack of 25 for like $3 or $4. I dipped the brush in the chrome powder and then I painted it on the inside of the molds before I put any resin in there. And I'm not done putting resin in there, so I'm not going to pop out what's in there. I'm going to add to it. But before I add the final layer, which will be white, I will use the Cast and Craft to make it opaque white. Before I do that, I'm going to add more water slides, and these are smaller versions of the herbs that I put on the cup. So I have basically brought you here for the water slide part, and once the water slides are dry, I will mix up the resin, pour that in. So that'll be the final layer up to the top of each one of these. And then I will bring you back so you can see how it turns out, and hopefully we will have two beautiful coasters that complement the cup. These were printed out on a single sheet using my Cricut Design Space program, and after I printed them out on my inkjet printer, I sprayed 2 layers, really thick layers of Rust-Oleum 2X clear spray paint. And then the third and final layer was Plastidip Glossifier. So 2 layers of this, and when that dried, final layer was this. Again, I will link below. You can find these at Walmart or Home Depot, pretty much any store where you can find paints. So that seals them in so the inkjet inks won't bleed when I put them in the water, and they will be pretty durable, so I can move things around if I need to. Let me put the water in this container and we will do our water slides, and I'll stop talking. I should probably plan these out. Watch, it won't be anything like that when I actually take these off and forget where I've put everything, but we'll give it a shot here. You're just going to put it in the water. I put it in face down because it tends to curl up when it first hits the water, and this way the whole thing stays wet. And it takes about 30 to 60 seconds. These little ones are really easy to do. Get it a little damp in here. So after I painted the chrome powder on the inside, some of it, obviously I was sloppy with my brush, some of it gets brushed into this middle part and I didn't really want it there. So I took a baby wipe and I wrapped it around my finger so I had as much control as possible, and I carefully went around and wiped everything clear right up to the edges. So that's how you clean up mica powders or chrome powders if you're trying to do these molds where you paint the powder in first. Any powder that gets on someplace you don't want, you just wipe it up with a gentle, soft baby wipe. Do not use the Lysol brand wipes. Those have really harsh chemicals in them. I mean something that's basically just a wet piece of fibrous paper. Something gentle enough for a baby's tuchus won't hurt your mold, and that's what you need to be careful about. You don't want to hurt your mold. All right, so let's see how these are doing here. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. I need to squeegee the water out. So using one of these, and I will link to this below as well. These are Silicone Soft Tip, and they have a little bit of a curve, so they're really good for squeegeeing out any water slide you put on a cup. They're also great for applying the resin on a cup if you don't want to use your finger. But they work really well for squeegeeing water. So I'm basically just going to run my squeegee over these to push all the water out that might still be underneath, because we want it all dry, no water underneath, no bubbles. And then I will take a paper towel and I will pat up the excess water like that. There we go. And I will just let that dry now before I add the final layer of epoxy. So let's move on to this one. When they're ready, they start to slip around if you do that. These are getting close. Give them another few seconds and they should be ready to go. Okay. Put this one here. Slide the backing paper off. And I still have room for my butterfly. I'll put him right there. And we'll sneak him in there, like that. There we go. There, okay. Now I will, you can see, I think, I've got some bubbles and wrinkles and whatnot. So now we squeegee. Push all the water out. All the bubbles down. Oh, of course you can't see with my hand in the way. Pat up all of that excess water and then I'll do it again. Now, if this were going to be on a cup, if these were on a cup like these, after it all dried, I would spray a layer of sealer over it, the Rust-Oleum gloss, or a matte. Either one, clear. I use matte on cups because I think it offers the resin you're going to put on next a better surface to cling to. But anyway, I'm not going to do any sealer on this. I'm just going to let these dry now. Because basically when I pour the resin on top, it's not going to slip off and go anywhere. It's going to stay right where I put it. So I don't really need to seal anything. These will stay stuck where they are. And then the white background will make it so that we can pick it up like this. Whoop, pick it up like this, and you'll be able to see the plants and the butterfly with a solid white background. That's what we're going for here. And then it will match the cup. So stay tuned. We'll come back and do the epoxy and the reveal and see how they look. Hey folks, we're back. Unfortunately, it looks like I was wrong. I do need to seal the water slides in on that clear layer before pouring the white layer because it looks like they've lifted. This did not happen the last time I did it, but I realized when I was thinking about it last night after I saw this, but I couldn't do anything about it, so I'm going to let it cure and show you what it looks like. The last time I did this type of project where I had a water slide and then a white backing on it, I had poured a middle clear, really thin layer because it was for a commemorative plate for my dog. I'll link that below if you want to watch it. That one turned out perfectly. And I put the water slides on the first clear layer. Then I poured a second clear layer that was super thin, and its only purpose was for me to plant little tufts of my dog's fur around the picture, around the water slides. And then when that cured, with the water slides in place under that second layer, then I poured the white layer on top. But you can see right here, some of the water slides have lifted up to the top of these. So we'll see what it looks like. I'm still curious. But I suspect, if you want to hang on, I'm going to redo these and I'll do them right next time. You won't have to watch any of it except the reveal at the end to see what the difference is. If I pour a middle layer to tack the water slides down first. Yeah, see? I mean, it's really pretty, but it's not what I was going for. I mean, actually the sides are gorgeous. I love how the gold chrome turned out. Isn't that beautiful? You can take any mica powder, any chrome powder, any interference color changing powder and paint it into crevices or edges of molds, and the resin will just soak it in. And it won't distribute it anywhere, it'll just soak it in right there on the spot. So that's how you end up, you don't have to paint these edges now. They're done. They're in there and the resin ready to go. So let's see how this one looks. Yep. What a shame. I really thought that would have looked cool. Actually, I don't just like this. A nice white, sparkly, with hints of flowers, hints of herbs, and gorgeous, gorgeous gold faceted edges. I don't dislike these at all. But I will remake these. I will do them correctly. I will use a very thin middle layer to tack all the water slides down. Oh, you know what? Another thing you could do, instead of pouring a middle layer, you could get UV resin. Okay, so you paint your edges if you want to. You pour the first layer of clear. You can add some sparkles to it with the rainbow, the Marabou rainbow. Once that cures, you put your water slides down like you saw me do, and then you can put on a few drops of UV resin and smear that all around and cure it with one of those UV lights that they use for nails, black light. And you can cure it with that, so it cures right there on the spot, maybe 5 minutes total. And it will then tack the water slides down. And then you can put your white layer on. So I think we're going to try that next. We'll do that next, and we'll see how that works. That may be a real game changer. Then you don't have to do 3 stages of pours. So I will do it that way. We will show you the final. This is not the end of the video. Stay tuned to see what these are supposed to look like. Hey folks, we're back. We are revisiting what you just watched, and for me it was a few days ago, trying to do these faceted edge heart-shaped coasters with a white backing. Last time, you may recall, having just seen it, I forgot the middle step. I didn't tack the water slides down in any way. I didn't think they would float up, and they did. I was wrong. They floated up into the white layer and disappeared into the white, basically. I mean, it looked kind of neat, but not what I wanted. So then I was going to redo them and pour a middle layer, which would have meant an extra day of curing time. Instead of doing that, I thought of trying UV resin. So I went onto Amazon and I ordered this. It gets rave reviews. It's Miracle Coup UV resin. And we are going to put a few drops on the back of each of these water slides. I've redone these two coasters. I've used blue chrome this time, also from Island Micas and More. I will link everything below. I'll link the resin below. And I can then shine a black light on it that I have here, and that will take a couple of minutes. Or it says on the bottle that you can use sunlight, because, you know, UV. It says sunlight 30 to 90 seconds, or sunlight on a cloudy day, 20 to 40 minutes. Well, I have a very cloudy day outside, so I'm just going to do this, and then I will bring you back. We'll make sure everything is sealed, namely that the resin has set and cured, and then I will mix up white and bring you back for the big reveal. So here we go. I have a glove on. I have my bottle of resin. I'm just going to basically push this around so it's over the water slide and the edges of the water slide. And our water slides should be under a layer of resin, essentially. See you back here shortly. Okay, we're back. This has been out in the sunshine. Well, no, it's been out on a cloudy day, not a sunny day, but outside in daylight for 45 minutes, and I can touch it. It is completely set. It is cured. This is ready to go. I'm going to mix up some resin with Cast and Craft white opaque pigment. That's all I'm going to put in it, and I'm going to pour it up to the top in both of these molds, let it set overnight, and we'll bring you back for the big reveal, which will hopefully be a white backing with the water slides showing exactly like they are here. See you in a sec. Hey folks, we're back. Let's see how this turned out. I'm really excited to unmold these. I'm really excited. There we go. Oops. And let's see if our UV resin test works. And yay, it did. Now, this is interesting. I can see the outline of the water slide on just this one. This is an older water slide. These were all printed and sealed with the 3 layers more recently. This one is actually pretty old, say a month old at this point. So I have heard people say to use your water slides right away, not to use old ones because they crack. Obviously that's not a problem, but there's something about the water slide sitting around that the edges are now visible, which I think is interesting. I don't know if that's because of the UV resin or if that would have happened anyway. I guess I'll have to do another test to find that out. I have some more of these older butterflies. I can test that. Let's see how this one turned out. Because if it's not the UV resin, then our test with the UV resin tacking everything down was a complete success. If, however, it's because of the UV resin, well, then that would make a difference. And here we find basically the same thing. No, that one is newer. It's this particular size. These are the month-old ones. So I guess that, I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to test it. I'll have to take some of the older ones and put them on top of white backing without UV resin. So I have to do the middle layer of regular resin and see if we can see the edges. I am not going to do that now. That'll be a test for another day. So I would say in general the UV resin test is a real success. These did not disappear into the white like the last ones did. They look beautiful with the exception of being able to see the outline of the one butterfly. Again, that may be the age of the water slide itself. I also love how the blue chrome looks. I think that's gorgeous. So the chromes are beautiful for painting inside the mold. It doesn't stain the mold. See, everywhere the resin was, it's completely clean. It does stick to the outside because there was no resin there. You can wash this in warm water with some Dawn dish soap and clean your molds up, which you should do in general every once in a while just to keep them in good condition. So I am really thrilled by this. This makes me very happy. I now know that there is a way to use UV resin to avoid basically an extra day's worth of waiting around for a third layer of resin, a middle layer of resin to cure. So let me know your experience, folks, with using older water slides. I'm curious if this is an age situation, just these two that are older. Thanks everyone, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.